And again, I'm reacting in total silence. No sound effects, just fans on. Yay! Howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day with fan on in the window, wide open. The door cracked open, wider than normal, but not fully, with a fan on out there. Fan down by my bedroom with the window open, so hopefully it's blowing cooler air. I have the front door open. I have the back door wide open. When I went downstairs this morning, it was 77 degrees in the bottom half of the house. It's warmer up here. It's going to be in the high 90s today, and I almost melted yesterday. I shut that window once it started getting warmer. I closed my bedroom door once it started getting warmer. It was as cool as possible in here, and I still almost melted. What did I get done yesterday? Almost melting. Except I did take my video camera outside, and I took a video of my vehicle, the inside and outside. Sent it to my sister. Unfortunately, one of the things I forgot to do was to record the odometer with the mileage so that they could see when I'd already said I was going to do it. So I got to go down there, I got to take a picture of it, send it off in the email, and then things should be good. We're only looking like maybe $250 for the vehicle, but you know what? That's $250 I don't have, and it's just sitting out there and slowly rotting in a technological, mechanical way. $250 is better than nothing, and again, I can't afford to fix it. It may be fixable and drivable, but the barrier, the monetary barrier to doing that is so high, I cannot hurdle it. So, life is life. My wife bought that vehicle in 2002. Yay! But still, I mean, life is life. That's the way life is. Checking the rest of my list just to see what's happening. Yesterday, or the day before, I can't remember now, I talked about how there were spiders in the window. There was a little orb weaver spider down at the fan. Well, the window opens up this way. I mean, you've got this one, it opens up this way, slides sideways. So I have the fan in the window here. There was the spider web here. So when I took the fan down, it ripped down the web. But when I moved the window, that took the rest of the anchor marks out. The spider panicked, ran. I don't blame him. There is a little orb weaver spider off to the side now, but the window's been open all night. Could be a different spider, could be that spider. Still, I'm just glad to see a spider in the window. I have grown to really like spiders, and when I see them, I'm glad. Here's a difference of what happened. You know, when you walk through a spider web, do you tend to freak out? I used to. I didn't want a spider on me. I wanted to get the web off of me. The other day, our garage is an open garage. You know, it has a roof, there's a concrete pad, the side of the house, and the rest of it is open, open, open. A roof and nothing. I walked next to one of the support pillars. I felt my hand go through some heavy, thick anchor webs, and then bloff, I went up against a web, full orb against my face. Did I panic? I tried pulling it off, but I was trying to be careful because I didn't want to hurt the spider if it was stuck on me somewhere. And so I'm pulling it off and looking around me, and I saw the spider on the ground, and I went, good, she's okay. At which point I continued just taking the rest of the web off. I was more concerned about the spider being alright than the fact that I had walked into an orb weaver's web. That is, again, such a massive change. I used to be massively arachnophobic, and now, not. Thumbs up for that? Again, don't know how it happened, but hopefully that's not too loud with the fan down there, and hopefully that's not too loud. I sincerely hope it's not. The microphone is pretty good at only picking up actual loud sounds, but if that is there, my sincere apologies. The other thing I halfway want to talk about is way back when 1982, when I was in the Air Force, 82 to 84, I can't remember exactly when, I came across the group Yellow. Y-E-L-L-O. I believe they're both Swedish. There's Dieter Meyer and Boris Blank. They had somebody else in the very beginning for the first album or two. Then they dropped that person, and it's only been the two of them. The one fellow has I don't know if they do anymore, it's been decades, but they used to have a machine with hundreds of thousands of sounds put in it so that they could use them in their music. They don't need to make music. One of them is exceptionally rich through industry. The other has been a golf pro. But they also make music together. Or at least have. I don't know if they still do now. I loved their first stuff. Extremely experimental and bizarre. And then they came out with albums like You Gotta Say Yes to Another Excess, where it started getting more musical. And then when they came out with the album 1 Second, oh my god. Beautiful. I was fixated on that album for years, decades. I still love it now. Two of the songs that I really like were co-written by a fellow called Billy Mackenzie. I didn't read album liner notes back then. I didn't realize that he had helped write this stuff, but they were very, very good pieces of music. One of which he sang by himself and also released on a different album as a different remix, is his version with Yellow, but this was Yellow's version with Billy Mackenzie. Billy Mackenzie is no longer with us, and I'm probably going to get emotional. I already feel emotional about it. He was 39 years old in like 1999, exceptionally depressed. His mother had just died, and he decided he couldn't stick around anymore. And with a combination of Tylenol and other prescription meds, he left. 39 years old. Good music, though. The weight of the world is so much for some people, and I understand. What else do I have on my list? Really, it's just a bunch at this point of creative stuff. I mean, I've got stuff about cryptids, I've got stuff about, there's Henrik and Issa Ibdn, there's the Jane Clarn part of this one story where he's a lich, but more of a solid state, super dense computing material. So, thumbs up, but I've been trying to think about that. Yesterday I spent a lot of time talking about a lead up with Henrik Ibdn, who is a doppelganger who is married to Issa. So I'm going to spend the rest of this time at 8 minutes in talking about Henrik and Issa Ibdn, because yesterday I can't remember exactly where I left off on the whole Henrik thing, but he, being a doppelganger, has to eat a certain number of human beings. He has always believed himself to be a monster. And on the Proctor and Heath, a holy, I can't remember the exact words, but it is an attempt to catalog absolutely everything about everything. It's effectively Wikipedia for the inside on the Crimson Kingdom's ThruNet, but they have the power, money, resources, and editorial teams from the Crimson Kingdom who demanded zero editorial control to fact-check everything. They say about the type of doppelganger that Henrik is, that when they are human, when they look human, that this is just a mask that the monster is hiding behind while they do what they have to do. For the first 80 years of his life, that was true for Henrik. He engaged in all sorts of really unsavory excesses and just a lot more death and suffering than he has done since. And in fact, at 80 years of age, from 80 to 100, he started to regret his earlier excesses and started doing his best to not do that. Just, it was bothering him. He was starting to try and integrate into human society by that point. Now, as a doppelganger, you would think, oh boy, why would they do that? But that's actually, as it turns out, I'm jumping behind the scenes, fairly common for doppelgangers of his type. Once they hit a certain point, they reach the end of their youth, they start feeling a desire for community, to be a part of things instead of being on the outside. So Henrik has already not wanted to be a monster by the time he got to Apple Rock around the age of 100, where he already looked about 35, 40 years of age. During the first 5 years of being in Apple Rock, when he was being affected by the gas that is emitted by the Kaiju, this affected him thoroughly to bring him more in line with what everybody else in Apple Rock feels. That sense of community, of desire to be there, of wanting to belong. Everybody in Apple Rock is affected by this gas, drugged to the gills. You will often see in large groups of people in Apple Rock, somebody will suddenly look up with this big dumb grin on their face, just looking around at everyone, and then just look back down. They're just looking up, amazed and just absolutely thrilled that all of these people around them are a part of their community. And they love the community. They love the people here. It's just amazing. They are overcome with this sense of community, hence the big dumb grin, and then they're back down with what they're doing, feeling happy. Henrik has this feeling too, but he had already been changing. So all it did was change and affect what had already been there. But during the first 5 years of being in Apple Rock, he met, fell in love with, started courting, and then married Issa Ibdn. She, by the time they got married, had already figured out that he was a doppelganger. But she told him, I have fallen in love with the man, not a monster. I am not in love with a monster. I am in love with the man, Henrik. He had never believed her. He has never believed her during the entire time of their marriage for the next 20 years because he feels like a monster and he has to eat human beings like a monster. And the Procter and Heath says he's a monster. But when the Kaiju rampages and eats 12,500 people, Henrik thought he would be on the Kaiju side. He's a monster, it's killing people, he eats people, he should be on its side. But he hates the Kaiju for what it's done. He loathes it. He is filled with hate and rage at what the Kaiju has done when he thinks about or looks at it. How dare that monster attack his community? How dare that monster eat the people in his community, his family, his friends, his neighbors, his community? He hates this thing and he doesn't know why. But he figures, I must be a person. Issa must be right. I'm a man. And that's when he falls into huge depression because he still has to eat people. He is still a monster. He hates the monster on the hill. He's like that monster on the hill. He's a monster like the thing he hates. He begins to hate himself, and he's on a dark path where he will take himself out of the game if he's not stopped. That bad of a depression, going and comparing himself to the beast on the hill. It is Issa that talks to him and helps him work through that no, he's not a monster. He has not spent all this time just hiding behind a mask to hold the monster safe. All this time he has been chipping away at the monster to get rid of the monster, to reveal as much of the man as possible. So once Issa helps him survive and he gets through this and realizes this, that yes, he has to eat human beings, 3 or 4 every year. That much of the monster he can't chip away. But every other portion of the monster he has chipped away at. He is not a monster. He is a man. And he is proud to be a man. And he wants to be a man for the rest of his life. He hates the Kaiju. He never wants to be like that again. And he knows that as a man, he's not going to. This saves his life. He does for the rest of his life. Afterward, when he's going out to other places, other cities, and he does so, when doppelgangers see him, you can recognize doppelgangers, they see him, they come up to him in cities and ask, how can I get what you have? How can I be like you and engage with community? So even when they're not in Apple Rock, hit a certain age as a doppelganger, that type that Henrik and others are, and you start to not want to be the monster that you are told that you are and have been. So that's Henrik and Issa, because especially after they're standing on the balcony on the roof of their house and the Kaiju is like 20 feet away from them, breathing that sick smell of torn, rotting meat, not rotting meat, digesting meat, as it breathes, and then leaves them alive. So that's a good thing for them. But that's Henrik and Issa Ibdn. And yeah, one of the things that in fiction that I have paid attention to and tried to do differently is one of the reasons of bad fiction is, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. Your characters are waiting for, and then this happens, so they can react to it, and then this happens. They're not really a part of the action, they're just reacting to everything with no agency. One of the things I've tried to do with all my characters and the situations is there's no, and then this happened. When Henrik has this big change in heart, it's not, and then this happened, it's because the Kaiju rampaged. Everybody's in shock. Yeah, it's an, and then this happened, but since the Kaiju does this every 4, 5, 6 years, it's not just a, oh, suddenly he changed one day. No, this is the Kaiju being super awful and horrific and devouring so many people that Henrik, along with the others, changes and adapts to. And then because he's changing, all the other things happen because of that. The Kaiju rampage is not just because, and then this happens. The Kaiju rampage is because it was born of a different universe. Everything it knows and everyone that it loved was killed and destroyed, and the ashes of its universe used to construct this universe. Everything it knew and loved destroyed so that these two-legged bipeds can have the world handed to them on a plate. Yeah, it hates because of that. It doesn't just hate for nothing, and then this happened. It hates because of what happened in the past and how it's reacting to that. And so many things are because of not just, and then this happened, but like the town of Abernathy. Well, it's not a town, small place, farm co-op. The town of Abernathy, they get a contract with the Crimson Kingdom to grow food. But where they're growing food is close to where this thing will be awakened and will start to kill on its own from the presence of domesticated crops and has been doing this throughout history for close to 1,000,000 years. And this is how they react to it, and this is how other people react to it, and that makes a big difference impacting other people's lives. It is a huge net and a web of stuff that is happening. You tug on this part of the web here, and everything else wiggles and moves because you pulled on it. I've tried to make it an interconnected weave that, well, this thing happens over here because of this. It's not, and then this happened. It's, well, this happened here that knocked over some dominoes here, that knocked over a domino here, that knocked over this, that this happened because of it, so you're reacting to that. Or you've done things as a character, and then you're reacting because of the domino effect of what you have done. It's not, and then this happened. It's, it happened because of all these things, and this is why. Bad fiction versus I'm trying so hard not to do bad fiction. One of the bad fiction books that I read that was just absolutely horrific. You could see how badly the book was being padded. There were these little flying monster things that were like killing everyone, but they were like the size of large bats. But for whatever reason, this was like destroying humanity. But the main characters were walking along, and the writer said the creature went hiss, hiss, hiss. And then the next line would be the monster going hiss, hiss, hiss. You don't say what the monster's saying and then have the monster say it. One or the other, not both. So it was a terrible book where these monsters were apparently affected by cold weather, and so they tricked them by having them fly into one of the freezer lockers. But it didn't take minutes for them to be affected by this. They would fly into the door with the door open. They would fly in and immediately just whoosh, whack, they're out and down. Really? So I'm trying not to do that kind of junk and make it an interconnected web. So thumbs up on that. And I would like to thank each and every person that has donated well, first off, each and every one of my Patreon patrons, beautiful and awesome people who help to keep me alive and my aging pet alive. Thank you so much. It is appreciated. Without your help, we would be old like Christmas monkeys. Thank you to everybody who has donated to my PayPal, and thank you to Blue Toad and others who are picking up the slack where I should be. I need to make a video about my GoFundMe and the situation. I hate executive issue functions and the heat which is making it so I can't. I don't function in heat. So thank you each and every one of you. It is appreciated. And I'm going to go through and thank how many people, turning off my spotlight here. I'm going to go through and thank how many people left me comments in the past 24 hours. It's never many, but anything more than 0 is awesome. And if I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I do count on the fingers of this hand in American Sign Language, but I'm just stimming. I'm not paying attention to that as I tug obsessively on my shirt. Let me call it my chrome. We have Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up, thank you. Canary yellow and bright, and maybe not bright red, but red are 2 colors. I do well, and thank you much. Chris, thumbs up, thank you. I actually slept because I had like 3 fans blowing on me, and it's hard. JAYY, thumbs up, thank you, greatly appreciated. And we're selling the car that I got, the truck, and the housing situation. I am getting help from my social worker. I need to recontact them. I had a call from a social worker whom I picked up on my landline. My landline was dying. I said, my landline's dying. Can you call me back on my cell? She never did. What would have been better? Telling her, please call me back at this other number? Or going, oh yeah, this is me, getting 3 or 4 lines into it and then having the phone die like I hung up on her. So I did the smarter thing. She never called back. So I'm going to leave a message with the social worker saying, This is the situation. Can you call her back and say, I waited all afternoon for your call. I'm still waiting. Can you please call me? And we have Sinistar. Thumbs up, thank you. And we don't have AC here. Washington State, AC has never been really necessary. Eastern Washington State is a desert. Yes. This side of the Cascade Mountains, no. It generally has been cool here traditionally. Now that it's so hot, nobody has air conditioning. Yay. We have BRGEMA. Thumbs up, thank you much. And oh boy, it's been fun. L30 Penguin, greatly appreciated. Cake, thumbs up, thank you much. And I have a lot of fun with sound effects and such. Big T, thumbs up, thank you much. We have BJ Dude, and I'm doing my best, but never forget loyalty. Thank you very, very much. And Ice Damon, greatly appreciated. Good to see you. RJ Mitchell, thumbs up, thank you much. And have you ever, there is on the Marvel Comics, you know, there's Spider-Man. One character that I really like, I've been fascinated by, and I'm still trying to work on a subject, Man-Spiders, in a comic book thing they had, where Man-Spiders is from a multiverse where instead of Peter Parker being bitten by a radioactive spider, like they killed and ate Peter Parker and became a very intelligent colony hive of spiders. So they are a mass of spiders in a Spider-Man suit in a colony mine. They are Spiders Man, not Spider-Man. I like that idea. And then we have Dasarath, greatly appreciated. And that is it. So thumbs up, thank you, each and every one of you, greatly appreciated. Get me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people. Yay! Well, as soon as it starts getting even a little bit warmer, I gotta take the fan out of the window and shut the window to keep the cool air in as long as possible. Keep this door open as best I can so the cat doesn't get out, so that the fan is blowing the air. Keep the other fan down at the end of the hall so it's blowing air down this way. And once it gets closer to 10 o'clock, I gotta shut everything down. Take the fan out of the window, put it on the floor over here to blow on me. Keep that open, keep my bedroom door shut so that the hot air doesn't come through. And then hopefully I don't melt. I couldn't do anything intelligent yesterday. I couldn't go walkies. It never cooled down by the time I went to bed. It was too hot to go walking at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is definitely a very, very good thing. Now, of course, I plugged that in so that it would charge. I forgot about that. It's a 10-foot long USB cable, and this is an adapter so that it'll fit because it's a different USB type. Yay! But I'm gonna turn this off here in a moment and then see how much power is, see if it charged up. I don't know. I can speak English. I promise. I'm just having difficulties right now. So high contrast against the glowing pasty white of my skin. You take care, and if it's hot where you are, be careful. If it's not hot where you are, boy, are you lucky.